everyone, I'm Tani Gale, and today I have another word from the Lord. The Lord has been giving me a whole lot of messages, so yeah, let's get into the word. The Lord has led me to Esther. I was about to nap, was speaking with the Lord, and the Lord laid this on my spirit, and He was speaking to me. I wasn't sure if it was a message, and He said, okay, before I get into those words, let's just go into Esther 8:16 to 17. So this is the word of the Lord. He's saying that weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. During the hour when the Jews were told that they were going to be killed, it was a time of darkness. It was a time of complete darkness for them. It was a time of mourning, and it was a time of sadness. They must have been restless at night. Just imagine being told that you were going to be killed, you and your people. Like, they must have been restless at night. And it's important for us to know that the Bible is actually true. And yeah, they must have been restless at night, not knowing if they'll die the next day or even the same night. They must have been restless, sad, worried. And so that was a time of complete darkness for them. So when the enemy comes up upon us, sometimes we experience that darkness, and sometimes even fear comes upon us, during that time, and you worry because that opposition is great. The Lord is greater, of course, but when you're in that dark place, sometimes you focus on the opposition. And so the Lord is saying it's time for you to remember the God that you serve, that He is great, and He's greater. He is greater. The one who is above all. And He's saying that when you stand up in faith, God will always come through for you. Many lives can be saved through your act out of faith. Many people in the land became Jews. This is what the word said. I should read it. It says Esther 9 verse 7. It's not Esther 9, it's Esther 8 verse 16 to 17. And it says, the Jews had light and gladness, joy and honor, and in every province and city, wherever the king's command and decree came, the Jews had joy and gladness, a feast and a holiday. Then many of the people of the land became Jews, because fear of the Jews fell upon them. And so many people, many lives can be saved when you act out of faith for the Lord. When the enemy finds out that the Lord is actually real and He's actually with you, many people, the fear of the Lord will fall upon them. Even your enemies, your enemies, many of them will change because they realize that God is actually real and God is with you. So many lives can be saved when you rise up in faith and stand up for your God. And God will reward you, with a blessing for a lifetime. And He said to me, darkness, tears, and this is the message. I don't know how I didn't know that, but now I know that is a message. But yes, the Lord is saying that, someone or many of you, you're experiencing a time of darkness. It says in Esther, as a part of Esther that really caught my attention by the help of the Holy Spirit. It says in Esther 3 verse 15 that the couriers went out hastened by the king's command, and the decree was proclaimed in Shushan, the citadel. So the king and Haman sat down to drink, but the city of Shushan was perplexed. Back when Haman wanted to kill the Jews. That's how he was. He was, doing his thing, like, making plans to, like, destroy them. But the whole city, the Jews, were very sad and worried. So many of you've experienced that time when it's like, oh, my enemies are rejoicing that I'm sick, because of them, or I'm, sad because of them, or, I'm experiencing certain things because of them. They are rejoicing, but I'm sad. How come? Now it's time for you to rise up in faith and fight and trust in the Lord. You have to know that it's really not us who's fighting, but the Lord who is fighting for us. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. God will remember you, and He will reward you. In the Bible, in Esther, Haman, he got much more than what he was going to give the Jews. He got more that came to him than what he was going to do. His whole family was killed, and many other people, many more people was killed. And Esther, Mordecai was rewarded. He was rewarded with a whole lot. And so God will reward you when you stand up in faith. Do not fear. Do not fear. Pray. Pray every night. Stand up and fight. The Lord is with you. And so the Holy Spirit has reminded me of something. He said that special. I remember that word. He said special. And so I'm going to write what I wrote. By the leading of the Holy Spirit, He's saying that you're special and called to be special. The whole reason why they wanted to kill Mordecai is because he did not bow. That was the whole reason, because he did not bow. He was different. We have to remember that, friendship with the world is enmity with God. And that's something that I live by, I'm different as well. It's okay. We're together in this. But yeah, you have to stand up in your walk and reject what is not of God. And I see Esther 4 verse 13 to 14. So I'm going to go there. Esther 4 verse 13 to 14, and it says, and Mordecai told them to answer Esther, do not think in your heart that you will escape in the king's palace any more than all the other Jews. For if you remain completely silent at this time, relief and deliverance will arise for the Jews from another place, but you and your father's house will perish. And so, like I wrote, the Lord has blessed me to know that, if you have to reject what is not of God. And so Esther, she had a choice to make. She had to reject what was not of God. When you are of God, you have to know that you have to stand up for Christ, not just be hearers of the word, but doers. So in our daily life, we will eventually have to show that we are of God. We are for God. When oppositions come up against us, we must not give up, but stand up and pray and sing and preach and believe that God is greater than any opposition. And in case you're wondering, what is not of God, if Esther had didn't partake in what she was called to do, then that would not have been of God. And so when you know that God is calling you to do something, when the Lord has told you that you need to fight, you have to get up and fight. Because if you don't get up and fight, this is what He has told me. If you don't reject it, you're accepting defeat. Accepting defeat is accepting the devil. And we know how the Lord speaks. If you spend time with Him, you will know when He says that you and your father's house will perish. This is the Lord speaking through Mordecai. You and your father's house, you and the devil. This is how He speaks. When He says it like that, I don't know how to explain it, but when He says it like that, He means that you and the devil. Sometimes He says it like that. You and your father's house will perish. He's saying you and the devil will go down if you don't stand up for me. If you don't understand that this is what I've called you to do, if you're backing down, then that means then you're saying no to me. And if you're saying no to me, then you're saying yes to the enemy. It's that simple. And so, don't fear. Don't fear. The Lord is with you. He will never leave you, and He will never forsake you. The enemy's lies that we need to fight, but it's really the Lord who fights for us. When we're sleeping, we can't do anything. Who do you think is fighting for you? The Lord. The Lord is fighting for you. Even if you've cried, the Lord will remember. He remembers everything. He sees everything. And He will reward your enemies for the things that they have done. Trust and believe it. You just keep your heart pure and keep praying, So that is my message for today. Continue to stay blessed.